Hello everyone, welcome to VisualSnaps. Today we're talking about how you can film with a DSLR. The first thing you need to understand when filming with a DSLR is frame rate. And there's many different frame rates that you can choose from, but there's a couple that I would recommend using. The first one is 24 frames per second. I would highly recommend using this for a cinematic piece, as this is what Hollywood uses in their movies. Another frame rate that you can use is 60 frames per second, which you can use for slow motion in 24 frames per second films, or you can use 60 frames per second as a smoother looking video. If you want slower video in a cinematic shot that's 24 frames per second, you can also use 120 frames per second if your camera has it. Another thing that you'll need to understand when filming with your DSLR is aperture. And explained simply, it's basically the smaller the number, the more light your lens lets in to the sensor. When you're shooting your shot, you can use your aperture to balance the amount of light coming in so you have a cleanly exposed shot, but you can also use it to control the depth of field in your shot. If you want to get this blurry background, there's two things that you can do. You can either go to the smallest f-stop, which is the number that tells you how much light is coming in, and get close and you'll get this blurry effect in the background, or you can zoom all the way in and have a tighter shot with a medium aperture, something like 5.6. When you focus on your subject, you'll get the compressed blurry background. The other thing you'll want to understand with your camera is ISO, and this is basically how sensitive your camera sensor is. For filmmaking, I would either recommend the native ISO of your camera, you'll have to do some research on this, or 800. These are probably the best ISOs for filmmaking. When filming with a DSLR, you'll probably want to keep your shots steady, so you'll most likely want to pick up a tripod, monopod, or Steadicam and use those to keep your shots steady. But having a smooth shot isn't always what you want. If you need to show an emotion or move your story along with shaky footage, feel free to take your camera off the tripod, monopod, or Steadicam and hand hold it to get a more shaky look. A huge part of filmmaking and taking video is audio quality. And if you want to learn more about audio quality, which I would highly recommend since it's a huge part of filmmaking, I have a video already made and I'll link it right here. When filming with your DSLR, you'll definitely want to keep your general story or point in mind so that all your shots match up. Well, that's it for today. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.